Feel like lucid be my dreams. Said you said he love me, so I'm sure you know the means. It's like I'm living all inside a movie in a dream. Sequels to my life entirely up to me. Slowly suffocating, do you notice how it feels? Baby, can you hold me while I'm running through the field? Like,
alright, because we need to have a serious conversation, bro.
In this versus series, we take a look at two greats of basketball history as we analyze their skills, achievements, and career totals, ending with a conclusion on who is the greater basketball player overall. Today, our matchup is the big fundamental, Tim Duncan, versus the Black Mamba, Kobe Bryant. One legend built his legacy over a long-lasting career of 19 seasons with the San Antonio Spurs, while the other played 20 seasons with the Los Angeles Lakers. Two men who each have an argument of being the greatest player.
Bro, I'm gonna be honest with y'all niggas.
Comparing a shooting guard against a power forward or center, then the means in which you compare the two have to change.
When both of these niggas were here, most like 90% of niggas, even when they were playing, like most niggas were saying Kobe was better. I'm telling y'all niggas, it's this weird thing. When a nigga dies, I'm telling you, in the moment they get a lot of love, but then as time goes on, because when they first die, there's niggas, when someone first dies young, niggas start dick rotting niggas to a crazy extent. So like niggas start saying, it's like niggas will be like, yo, Kobe's the greatest to ever play. So then they get too much fake love, and then niggas start hating on them. So they end up getting disrespected more than they were when they died than when they were here. Like that same shit, you can say that shit with X, Juice. It's a lot of artists, and anyone who dies young, they get a lot of love, and then it makes niggas start hating on them. I'm telling you. They get a lot of love to the point where they become overrated, and then niggas start hating on them.
Example, it's normal for a guard to average more assists than a big man because of how much time the guard spends handling the ball, and he also does more of his passing from the perimeter, which is where most of the facilitating takes place. On the other hand, it's normal for a big man to average more rebounds, considering his
blocks
size and where he positions himself on the court. So what this means is that having categories like rebounding and playmaking would be pretty ridiculous, considering the obvious advantages that are built into the different positions.
And
so
like
in this video, we need more general categories, and these are the four I've chosen for this comparison: offense, defense, playoffs, and accolades. First off, offense. Fundamentally, these two players have an extremely different approach on the offensive end, as Duncan was more of the type to play within the flow of the offense. He didn't have to be the leading scorer to be extremely effective on his team. Kobe, on the other hand, had a much more aggressive tendency and even personality, and their differences showed on the court. Tim Duncan is currently in 15th place on the all-time scoring list with over 26,000 points, and he averaged 19 points per game over the course of his career on 55.1 true shooting percentage. Kobe is in 4th place on the all-time scoring list with nearly 34,000.
I want to say too, like these two are not comparable when it comes to scoring. Like Kobe's obviously better. Niggas are gonna say, well, his shooting percent, bro. One is taking. I feel like what made Kobe really dominant is because he kind of had like that Curry effect, and what I mean by that Curry effect is there's certain offensive niggas who they will make certain shots that will end the game in the third quarter with the type of shots they make. What I mean by that is like the type of shots they make are they debilitate and take away the other team's whole momentum. So my nigga, you done fought to get back in the game against the Warriors, and you see this nigga Curry pull up from half court and just sink a shot fully contested with two niggas on him. It just destabilizes the whole momentum, the whole other team's offense, everything. Like it fucks up their whole morale, their whole everything they had going on, all their momentum, the rhythm they were in, everything. You guard Curry back to back, he come up 2 fucking half court shots in your face. You're fully in this nigga's face and he makes them. I'm telling you, that's the type of impact they have that it doesn't show up on the box score. Kobe was the type of nigga, he makes this, bro. This nigga will go double pump fake, spin, and then do a fucking fader over 2 niggas. You done fought so hard to get the game back within like 3 points, and he makes that back to back. It destabilizes the whole team. The type of shit that they do doesn't really show up on the box score, but what makes Kobe amazing is that his field goal percentage, nigga, be like, I think he shoot like 47%, which is average. It's not bad. But for the shots he was taking, it's fucking insane. Like, Kobe is the bad shot maker. But if he's missing them, he looked like a ball hog ass nigga. But if he's making them, he looks like one of the most dominant scorers to ever play the fucking game. Like, that's the thing with him. If he makes them, he's destabilizing the whole team's momentum. If he's missing, you know? So like that's why I don't like the field goal percentage aspect of it, but I don't think him and Tim Duncan are close when it comes to offense, bro. The type of shots he would make, it would literally like shift games. It could be the second quarter. You see this nigga make some bullshit back to back, it shifts the
points
whole
per
game.
on 55% true shooting percentage, and he also won 2 scoring titles. When you simply look at their field goal percentage, Duncan had the advantage, which is expected from a big man. But when you take the other aspects into account, like perimeter shooting and free throw shooting, Kobe now has almost the exact same true shooting percentage as Duncan.
Again, free throw shooting boosts that up a lot, but I still do think like we're comparing a nigga who's shooting threes and shooting middies and getting double teamed at the fucking 3 line to like a 6'11" nigga who's doing hook shots. You know what I mean?
Shot the ball nearly 50% more often than Duncan did. Analytics have proven that as you shoot the ball more, efficiency generally goes down, as more shot attempts mean being less selective and results in taking more contested shots.
My nigga, you're guarding a nigga.
More often than Duncan.
Bro, I'm trying to get on niggas understand. You're guarding a nigga and he does this shit. And y'all done finally got the game within 2. It's destabilizing, nigga. This nigga.
Efficiency generally goes down, as more shot attempts means being less selective and results in.
Like, look at this. You're guarding a nigga, and he makes this on you. Y'all cut the game to a fucking 1 point, and he hits this. Destabilize at the buzzer. Destabilize the whole team.
Credit for, which is pretty incredible, considering the fact that he took a lot of what Paul George would call bad shots.
Yeah.
Duncan was never the dynamic scorer that Kobe was, but he didn't have to be, and that was somewhat the beauty of Tim Duncan's game, as he could fit with many different offenses and with many different personalities. These two were so uniquely different in the way they approached the game. I could break this category down for an hour, looking at all the different angles and perspectives, but for me, at the end of the day, Kobe has to take the offensive category, as he's one of the most dominant scorers of NBA history.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, he was also an underrated passer. Of the players who scored at least 25,000 points in their career, the only players who accumulated more assists than Kobe did was Oscar Robertson and LeBron James. That's it. Offense goes to Kobe. Second up is defense.
That's what I'm saying. We're like, he took bad shots. So niggas, when you see this nigga take a double contested shot and he misses it, you're like, yo, this nigga's a fucking ball hog. But it's kind of something that is overstated. You know what I mean? Like, he did move the rock, but he took bad shots. But if he make them, I'm telling you, he's shifting the whole game, the whole momentum of the game.
Both of these legends were two of the greatest defenders at their position. Neither player won a Defensive Player of the Year award, but they were both consistently elite and earned many All-Defense Team selections. Duncan has 15 All-Defense Team selections, which is the most in NBA history. For his career, he averaged 0.7 steals and 2.2 blocks. Kobe has 12 All-Defense Team selections and 9 First-Team selections, which is tied with Michael Jordan, Gary Payton, and Kevin Garnett for the most First-Team selections in NBA history.
Fuck.
He averaged 1.4 steals.
I didn't even know he was tied with MJ.
Blocks over the course of his career. Duncan in many ways was the model of consistency, and the biggest example of that was probably his defense, as he's the only player to make an All-NBA and All-Defense team for 13 straight seasons.
Yeah, he was insane. But one thing I don't like to compare to is like a big man defender versus, because one is, most of the time big men are going to win DPOI because they're guarding the paint. They're going to get blocks. They're going to get, they're not really comparable. Like, you can't really compare a guard who defends the perimeter versus a nigga who guards the paint. It's two different things. A 6'11" nigga who's blocking niggas in the paint versus a nigga who's running off of screens and shit like that. It's just different.
Even
I don't know.
Duncan aged and his reliability as a strong offensive threat dwindled, still his elite defensive.
I would give it to Duncan, but I wouldn't say it's this big gap that niggas would think. Like, it's
he wasn't the most athletically gifted player, but he had an incredibly high defensive IQ and was a great team leader for a defensive-minded team. Duncan finished 5th on the all-time list in block shots, putting himself in the debate for the title of greatest rim protector to never win the Defensive Player of the Year. Now, Kobe was elite too, especially in his early years in Los Angeles. And ask anyone.
I ain't gonna lie, you're telling me Tim Duncan never deserved to win one? I feel like that's kind of bogus, bro.
Redeem team, and they'll tell you about how Kobe's defensive tenacity, dedication, commitment, and leadership led that team to be as suffocating defensively as they could be. It was remarkable how throughout the majority of Kobe's career that he could use so much energy on offense while also remaining the best defender at his position. In 2006, Kobe became the only player to officially average over 35 points per game while also making first team all-defense. He wasn't the type to lead the league in steals or blocks, but where he really stood out was with his on-ball defense, as Kobe was great at trapping his opponent, causing turnovers, and just
and like shit like this, like, it's not really that's what I'm saying. I don't really like when niggas compare defense between a guard and a big man, because this shit doesn't show up in the box score. Say this nigga blows by right now, or he slightly gets past, and then this nigga comes and helps and then blocks him. You know, he gonna get the, you know what I mean?
Making the offensive player
but
frustrated.
He's gonna get the respect for that defensive stop, but
mind to it in the most
I don't know how to explain it.
The thing is, Kobe didn't have the defensive longevity that Tim Duncan had.
That's
even
true.
Though the Mamba made 12 all-defense teams, which is just 3 short of Tim Duncan's total, even that 12 total is a bit questionable for Kobe. In an interview, the all-time great and brutally honest Phil Jackson said that Kobe won some of his later all-defense team selections because of his reputation, and not necessarily because of what he was actually doing.
Yeah,
on
probably.
the court. In other words, Kobe's own Hall of Fame head coach said that his defense was a bit overrated, at least in terms of the later years of his career.
When he got older, he for sure wasn't like running off screens to guard fucking Damian Lillard and all these niggas for sure. I agree with
As
that.
someone who personally witnessed more games from Kobe than any other player, I have to agree with this statement.
Yeah.
As Kobe aged, it became much more common for him to get blown by the offensive player and simply rely on the center or the help defender to bail him out. It wasn't that Kobe couldn't still be great defensively, it was just that he picked his spots, rather than being a lockdown force all game long. Also consider the fact that Phil Jackson made this comment in 2010, and implied that this reputation thing had been going on with Kobe for a bit. So when did this reputation thing start? 2008? 2009? When you look at it that way, you're talking about around 8 seasons of Kobe's career where he was not one of the best defenders. The same thing can't be said about the big fundamental. A slight edge on defense goes to Tim Duncan.
Yeah, I'll give the defense definitely to Tim Duncan. Again, though, what I'm saying is that I just don't like when niggas the comparison, it doesn't make sense, because then, yeah, it's easier for like a big man to shift and block a nigga in the paint versus you're fucking at like 33 or 34 versus a nigga who is like, you're running off screens and guarding these niggas, Russell Westbrook, who's trying to blow past you and coming off a screen and shit. It's like, it's two different type of like athleticism needed for that.
Third up is the playoffs. When you're comparing some of the
Like,
greatest
you're gonna be
players of all
gassed,
time,
you know?
that's a factor in the postseason, as the game completely changes, and the pressure, the nerves, and the magnitude of the moment reveal what players are really made of. Tim Duncan led the playoffs in total points 2 times, in blocks 3 times, and in rebounds 6 times. Over his 251 games in the playoffs, he averaged 20.6 points, 11.4 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2.3 blocks on 54.8 true shooting percentage. Kobe led the playoffs in total points 4 times and in steals 2 times. In his 220 playoff games, he averaged 25.6 points, 5.1 rebounds, 4.7 assists, and 1.7 steals on 54.1 true shooting percentage. Both players had postseason careers that were packed full with iconic moments. Both players had 5 championship rings, but when it comes to playoff comparisons, it's not really about the stats that drive the debate, but it's usually the narratives about the players. For example, people
Finals
often
MVP,
criticize
yeah.
Kobe for,
This
quote,
is
getting carried by
this is so stupid. Oh my fucking god. I'm gonna go on a tangent about this.
that drive the debate, but it's usually the narratives about the players. For example, people often criticize Kobe for, quote, getting carried by Shaq to his first 3 championships. But as I've talked about in several videos before,
Stupid
that means
as
that
fuck.
Shaq took advantage of the mismatches in the NBA Finals against the Eastern Conference. If we're being honest, the NBA champions were decided in the Western Conference playoffs in the early 2000s. And in 2 out of those 3 championship runs, it was Kobe who was arguably the MVP of the West playoffs. And in both 2001 and 2002, where Kobe's Lakers defeated Tim Duncan's Spurs, Kobe was the best performer for Los Angeles. Now, some argue that Tim Duncan's final championship in 2014 was more as a role player than the best player on the court. And
Can I? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to keep pausing, but yo, I need to talk about this whole narrative that Kobe got carried by Shaq for 3 rings. You niggas are fucking. Oh my. Bro, there is no player in NBA history that will come into the league as an 18-year-old, 21, in their early 20s and win finals MVP over prime Shaq. It's not gonna fucking happen, my nigga. It will never happen. It would never. I don't give a fuck if it's LeBron. Think about LeBron when he first came into the league. Say he was playing with prime Shaq. He's not winning fucking finals MVP over prime fucking Shaq. Not even MJ is coming in the league and winning finals MVP over prime Shaq. I'm sorry, nigga. No player ever will come into the NBA and can't fucking even legally drink, nigga, or like is like 20, 21, 22 and win finals MVP over prime Shaq. It will never happen. No nigga could do that. I hate that narrative. That's like if maybe if Shaq was not prime Shaq, if Shaq was washed, you know what I mean? Like when D-Wade won it with the Heat over Shaq, and Shaq was washed. Shaq told D-Wade he was washed at that time. I remember seeing an interview where he told D-Wade like, yeah, like yo, I'm done. It's the end of the road. I ain't gonna lie. It's the end of the road for me. Like I'm getting up there. I can't take over the game how I used to. Prime Shaq. No one is winning a Finals MVP over prime Shaq in his prime, and they're not in their fucking prime, nigga. Like
considering the fact that he was 37 and Kawhi Leonard was the Finals MVP, there may be some validity to that claim. But as far as the best performance in an NBA Finals series, that definitely goes to Duncan in 2003, who put up absolutely ridiculous numbers in those 6 games against New Jersey, including a near quadruple-double in the championship-clinching game. In my opinion, Kobe's most impressive championship run came in 2010, where it wasn't so much about his solid playoff numbers, but it was more about the fact that he did it with a broken index finger on his shooting hand. These
That's
guys
fucked
have so many
too.
postseason
Holy
minutes
shit.
that you can find instances where both guys played above expectations and below expectations. You can stir up any narrative to discredit either contender, but there's always a narrative-based counter-argument against the other player as well. In my opinion, both guys had equally impressive stats and achievements when the games mattered most. Playoffs is a tie between these two legends. Last on the list of categories is accolades.
I think some niggas would want to give it to Tim because, I'm just saying, like, you could swap the roles and put Tim Duncan as a little nigga, and he's not winning that. So, like, I don't know.
And both of these icons had a ton of them. Duncan was a 5-time NBA champion, and he won 3 Finals MVPs. He was a 15-time All-Star, made 15 All-NBA teams, 15 All-Defense teams, and was a 2-time league MVP. In his 19 seasons, he averaged 19 points, 10.8 rebounds, 3 assists, 0.7 steals, and 2.2 blocks on 55.1 true shooting percentage. Kobe was a 5-time champion, and he won 2 Finals MVPs. He made 18 All-Star teams, 15 All-NBA teams, and 12 All-Defense teams. He was the 2008 league MVP, and he won 2 scoring titles.
I think strictly just because of because it's
In his
very
20
debatable.
seasons, he averaged 25 points, 5.2 rebounds, 4.7 assists, 1.4.
Because some people are gonna argue, well, he has one more Finals MVP and an MVP. I will say I do feel like Kobe got robbed. Like when he averaged 35, I don't give a fuck if his team was ass. I feel like he should have won. Same thing with Harden. When Harden averaged like 36, I feel like he should have won MVP. I feel like when you have a season like that, you should have won. And when Jordan averaged 37, I don't know if he made the playoffs that year, but I feel like when you have a historic scoring season like that, you should win it. So I would say you should have to, you could still give it to Duncan. I feel like you could still give it to Duncan, but I do think, my nigga, say you're playing with Prime Shaq, I don't think Duncan wins any Finals MVPs with that nigga.
Steals and 0.5 blocks on 55 true shooting percentage.
He's playing with Prime Shaq.
Ultimately, as usual in these videos, it's extremely close. And I don't think there's a wrong answer here, but just a matter of opinion and preference. But for me, Kobe Bryant is the greater basketball player and ranks higher on my all-time list. To boil it down as simply as possible, Kobe was simply the more dynamic and dominant offensive force, and to me, the advantage Kobe has over Duncan offensively is
Makes up
significantly
for the
greater than
defense. Makes up for the
advantage Duncan has over Kobe defensively.
Exactly. That's what I was saying earlier. Like, the disparity between them offensively is way bigger than the disparity between them defensively.
I do think there's a strong argument for Duncan, but if you make that argument, then I think it's mostly about stuff that goes beyond the stat sheet. For example, he was a quiet and humble leader who led by example. He's a teammate who's incredibly easy to get along with.
And like another thing, again, what I was saying about the big man, I don't think I explained it properly, but I feel like it is I wouldn't say it's easier to be a dominant defender as a big man, but it's easier. You're more likely going to get recognition, especially like DPOI consideration, as a big man defender versus a guard. Like I said, for example, someone like a Marcus Smart, he's running off screens, he's doing all the shit he was doing. Yes, he did get a DPOI, but all the shit he's doing off the screen, he's not going to be able to do that when he's 33. Rudy Gobert is still going to be able to just shift over and block a couple of niggas at 33. He probably is already 33, you know what I mean? Like, it's easier to be dominant defensively in the paint versus you're on the perimeter and you're trying to block a nigga coming off a screen from a jumper or running off a screen and a nigga's attacking the basket. It's just two different aspects things you guys have to guard, you know what I mean? So yeah, you're 34, you're not gonna have the fucking stamina to keep up with them niggas. You're 34, you're a big man in the paint, you still have to just slide over, help defense and block niggas, you'll probably be fine, you know?
Which certainly isn't something that Kobe was known for, and Duncan sacrificed money on several occasions to allow his team to recruit more talent. Now, I'm not one to suggest that any worker should take less money than what they're worth, but at the same time, Duncan's willingness to sacrifice some of his own potential income for the sake of the team just goes to show how his selflessness and team-first approach was so instrumental in all of the success that San Antonio experienced.
Yeah.
So to reiterate, I think Kobe is literally the better basketball player. But if we're talking about who is the person you would rather have in the organization for everything they bring to the organization, on and off the court, then Tim Duncan is likely the right choice. Let me know in the
Yeah, it
comment
really depends what you
section
want.
who you think was the
To me, I do agree. I think that Kobe is better all time, but I think it's very close. Like sometimes, and this is what I'm saying, when someone dies, they get a lot of fake love, and then it makes others want to overly hate on them. Like bro, I saw a list, regardless, at the peak, I would say back in the day, most niggas did think Kobe was better, but they were still neck and neck. Why are there lists now where it's like Kobe is like the Bleacher? I think it was Bleacher Report. Bro, Kobe is ranked 12th and like Duncan is 6th. At their peak when they were all playing against each other, the whole time they played each other in their career, they were neck and neck. So they were neck and neck. There's no way you can now say that one is six spots better. Like, it's capped. That's bullshit. I think Kobe suffers from the thing that a lot of people do when they pass away young. People give them a lot of love at the start, and then because they become overrated when they first pass away, people then begin to overly hate on them. You know what I mean? I think Kobe is better all time. And I do think, like, I'm just saying, like, the Spurs were such a well-run organization. Like, if you look at it, like, he won. He came in the league, played with David Robinson, won, right? Then he comes and then he plays, he wins again, you know what I mean? Beats, like, I think the New Jersey Nets, was it? Or was it the Pistons? I don't remember. I think it was the New Jersey Nets. But, and then he for most of his career, he's with Greg Popovich after that. So they're always competitive. He's with Greg Popovich. He's with fucking Manu, Tony Parker. And then they add some role players like Bruce Bowen and like other niggas like that. Robert Horry, whatever the fuck. He had a solid team for like most of his career. I feel like for Kobe, after those Shaq years, nigga, that Lakers team was ass until like the late 2000s. Like, them niggas were ass for like over half a decade. After Shaq was gone, they were ass for like over half a decade. Dead ass. Kobe still made fucking 7 finals. I think 7, right? The last thing I want to say about the Tim Duncan and the fucking Kobe shit is like, yo, a lot of the shit that like Kobe gets flack for, Tim Duncan don't get flack for. Like, y'all would not let Kobe live it down if he was ever the 1 seed and lost to the 8 seed. Y'all are on Kobe ass about losing the finals MVP to a prime Shaq. Mind you, LeBron, MJ, no nigga in their at 20, 21, 22, in their youngest years of just coming in the league is going to outperform and win a finals MVP over prime Shaq, who's averaging 35, 13, and 3 blocks. Like, it's just not gonna happen. The shit is not gonna happen. Feel me? So it's like the stuff he gets flack for. Tim Duncan will never get flack. If Tim Duncan lost a finals MVP over like, or if Kobe lost the finals MVP over like a rookie Kawhi, Tony Parker, y'all would not let him live it down. Y'all already don't let him live it down for Shaq. And Shaq was in his prime music kid. Kobe was someone like who had a Curry type of impact on his team where a lot of the shit he didn't go as deep as the box score. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you're not gonna see on a box score. Like, for example, when like, regardless what y'all think, the Warriors was still Steph Curry's team. That was a team that's built around Steph Curry, that thrived because of Steph Curry and thrived off of the like offense that was centered around Steph Curry. So when you go back and watch the Warriors playing when KD's winning these finals MVPs over him, KD wasn't the best player on the team. Is that there's bare clips of people going to double team Curry, who's open at the 3 line, giving KD a full open dunk or a full open shot. There's bare times where people are double teaming Curry at the at the logo, leaving KD and Klay open. Like, it's the gravity of what they do. Kobe's like that in a sense, not necessarily where he's from half or no shit like that. But the thing with Kobe is that Kobe was like, same thing with Curry. They could end the game in like the 3rd quarter. I'm telling you, say you're up on the Warriors, y'all up by 9. They done hit 2 threes. They cut it down to a 3-point game, and then Curry comes up and pulls up from half and sinks it at all the momentum. Bro, all the momentum, the whole rhythm your team was in, out the window. Now they Warriors about to go on a 15-2 run. All your rhythm, all your momentum gone. And the same thing with Kobe, but it was different. Kobe come up, double pump fake, spin fader, guarded, smothered by 2 mans, and then makes the shot. That completely just ruins a team's whole momentum, the rhythm. They were all in, everything. That's the type of shit that Kobe used to do. And when it's working, he looks like the greatest scorer of all time. When it's not, he looks like the biggest ball hog of all time. Mind you, I think Kobe is the number 1 guard for assists by the Lakers or some shit. But the reason bare people call him a ball hog is because he used to take dumbass shots. Like, he'd be smothered, 2 mans on him, 3 mans on him, and he'll still shoot it. So when it misses, it's like, yo, he a ball hog ass nigga. But when it goes in, bro, he's literally shifting the whole, like, he done ended the game. Bro, the Lakers are up by you guys don't cut down the lead. The Lakers are up by like 9 points. You cut down the lead to like 2 points. This nigga Kobe hits a fucking double pump fader from fucking the 3-line with 2 defenders smothering him, and he sinks that, the whole outcome of the game just shifted off of that shot. And that's the type of stuff that players like Kobe and Curry did that just doesn't show up in the box score. You know what I mean? So I feel like, bro, Kobe passed away. He been getting a lot of disrespect. It's just a lot of shit. And like Kobe, to me, he's the best bad shot maker all the time. It sounds crazy, but like I said, when those shots fall, completely changes the outcome of a game. When they don't, he look like a ball hog. But like I said, the type of shots that he take, even with the field goal percentage shit, bro, him shooting 47% from the field, taking the shots he was taking is ridiculous. Because I feel like every other player in the league who would, if they would take the shots he would take, they'd probably be shooting like 36% from the field. It's not even necessarily his field goal, it's the shots he was taking to hit those shots. The fact that he still shot that percentage, insane. I just feel like he hit a point now where he gets way too much hate and unwarranted hate that he doesn't deserve. And yeah, to me personally, I think he's over Tim Duncan. I'll probably do a full like all-time ranking soon, but yeah, that's how I feel about the situation. I ain't gonna lie.
Baby, I like just how you blushing. And maybe we could bust it at the function. Turn nothing to something. Wish you could just see the horrors of my life may upbring.